What's up, everybody? Man, it's your boy, Mr. Duga, coming at you with another video, man. And tonight, man, I am going to do my Mr. Duga mock draft 1 only O. Like, this is going to be the only mock draft I'm going to do, man. This is the official Mr. Duga first round mock draft. Strictly going off of who I think each team should pick. It's not gonna really be nothing about the what the experts say. It's just as what I think each team should do with their picks in the first round, yo. But before I get into this video, man, for everyone, if you want to give me a follow on Instagram or send me a friend request on Facebook or give me a follow on TikTok, I might have my Instagram and my Facebook and my TikTok information down in the description box. Come give me a follow on the gram. Come send me a request on the book. Come holler at your boy, yo. Like I said, man, this is what I just believe all 32 first round picks should be. You may like some of them, you may not like some of them, but it is what it is. Some of them I remember off the top of my head. Some of them I have to look down on my notes that I took. Just looking at each team situation and where I think they should go. Assuming, of course, nobody makes a trade or nothing like that. Assuming that everybody stay put. You feel me? First, I'm gonna start off with the obvious ones, man. The number one pick in the draft will go to the Cincinnati Bengals, and obviously, I think they should take quarterback Jambalaya Joe Burrow from LSU, yo. 60 touchdown passes. I mean, what more else do you want, man? 60 touchdown passes in the SEC, the most in college football history. Andy Dalton is really kind of wide as welcome over there. They get their franchise quarterback, man, Jambalaya Joe Burrow. And I think he gonna embrace the whole Cincinnati situation with him being only 2.5 hours away. His hometown of Athens only being 2.5 hours away from there. Number two pick in the draft, man. Obviously another easy one. The Washington Redskins will take defensive end Chase Young out of Ohio State, aka the Predator. This is what the Redskins need, man. Obviously they got guys like Ryan Kerrigan and all that, but they need a guy, man, that could go out there and get after the quarterback. For they got my Eagles, got Carson Wentz, Dallas got Dak, the Giants got Daniel Jones. So the Redskins gonna need a guy to go after him, arguably the best player in the draft. The number three pick, man, another obvious one, man. I think the Detroit Lions should take Jeff Okuda, cornerback from Ohio State. The Hands down, man. I don't even think it's close. The best cornerback in this year's draft, man. Obviously the Lions just traded away Darius Big Play Slay to my Philadelphia Eagles. Appreciate that. And I think they get his replacement, man, in Jeff Okuda, a guy that I think is a very, very good cornerback. Like, for me personally, I think he's hands down the best corner in the whole draft, yo. With the number four pick in the draft, man, is the New York Giants. I know a lot of people think they should go linebacker with Isaiah Simmons and stuff like that. Me personally, I'm gonna go a different route, man. I think that they should take Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle from Iowa, arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft. The Giants have struggled to protect their quarterbacks for years, yo. Eli Manning before, and obviously Daniel Jones now. They feel like they got the quarterback of the future. So I think that they got a great running back. Obviously, they got some solid wide receivers, a good tight end, Evan Ingram, if he could ever stay healthy. So I think they need to start getting some protection along that offensive line. When you look at it, the Washington Redskins are going to most likely get Chase Young. My Philadelphia Eagles have Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett. Dallas has DeMarcus Lawrence, and if they could stay off of drugs, Randy Gregory and Alden Smith. So, the Giants should get somebody that could block all those guys, and I think Tristan Wirfs is the guy, the route that they should go. With the number five pick, I think the Miami Dolphins should take Tua Tagovailoa, yo. Obviously these guys never had a franchise quarterback since Dan Marino. They made a couple of nice moves in the offseason, spent the money that they had. Obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a journeyman. He could come in for one more year. Even if they want a red shirt Tua, give Tua a chance just to get even though it looks like he's fully healthy, just give him a chance to get more and more healthy. It'll be a good situation for him going over there, yo. So I think the Miami Dolphins grab Tua Tagovailoa, man. When healthy, the guy is an extremely accurate quarterback. And I just think that's what they've been missing for all those years. Buffalo has their QB. The Jets have their QB. The Patriots, that's a whole nother situation. But I think the Dolphins, it's their time for them to get their QB. So I think they take Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback out of Alabama. With the number 6 pick in the draft, man, I think the Los Angeles Chargers should take Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon. Obviously, they're moving on from Phillip Rivers. I thought which they probably still could. It's not too late. I thought they would take a look at Cam Newton, but obviously they haven't done that up to this point. Maybe they do before the draft or whatever. Maybe they go another route in the draft because they know they're going to get Cam Newton. But assuming things stay the way that they are, man, I think they go Justin Herbert, yo. I know it's a lot of hype behind Jordan Love. Me personally, I think that is overrated hype. I don't think the guy should go in the top 10. Just me being honest. So I think the guy like Justin Herbert is a little more polished and a little more ready to play. He gets to stay on the West Coast. He got guys like Keenan Allen. He probably won't start right away. They may go with Tyrod Taylor. But whenever it's his time, you got guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Hunter Henry. There's some good weapons over there, and he's a nice, tall, rangy quarterback. So I think the Los Angeles Chargers will go should go Justin Herbert at number 6. The number 7 pick in the draft, I think the Carolina Panthers should go Isaiah Simmons, linebacker from Clemson. Obviously, when you have Luke Kuechly retiring, you go ahead and get his replacement. I mean, it's simple. Guy's the best linebacker, probably the best athlete in this draft, besides Chase Young, man. From a 4.39 from the linebacker position, you could put him in at linebacker. He could play safety. I think this is a guy that Carolina and Matt Rule are going to build their defense around from years to come. So I think the Carolina Panthers should take Isaiah Simmons, linebacker out of Clemson, with the 7th pick. With the 8th pick in the draft, yo, I think the Arizona Cardinals should take Mekhi Becton, however you say his name, offensive tackle from Louisville. The guy's an athletic freak, man. Obviously he ran very, very fast at the combine, and he's somebody that's just flying up the draft boards, yo. I think they got enough playmakers, man, with DeAndre Hopkins now, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk. They got Kenyon Drake, Kyler Murray, obviously a quarterback that they very high on and should be high on. I think that they should go ahead and get some offensive line help. Get some people that could come in there on that offensive line, and provide a spark, give him a lift. And he's a very, very athletic offensive lineman, to be back there with an athletic, extremely fast quarterback. So I think the Arizona Cardinals at number 8 should take Mekhi Becton. If I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, offensive tackle from Louisville. With the number 9 pick in the draft, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars should take Derek Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn. Obviously, these guys are, reloading, especially defensively. They lose guys like Calais Campbell and Jalen Ramsey. I don't know what's up with Telvin Smith and all them, but I think that Derek Brown is a guy that could come in. They already got Josh Allen on the edge. He's a guy that could come in the interior of their defense, and make some things happen. A guy that could fill in, for the departure of a Calais Campbell. So even though they're kind of different type of players, but still, I think that he could come in, on the interior, and wreak some havoc. So I think with the 9th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars should take Derek Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn. Let's see, with the 10th pick, see if I remember this. Okay, yeah. With the 10th pick, I think the Cleveland Browns should take Jedrick Willis, the offensive tackle from Alabama. This team is very talented, especially at the skill position, with Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr. I think Nick Chubb is back, but I mean, I think Kareem Hunt will be back. They got two tight ends now, Austin Hooper and, David Njoku. So I think they need offensive line help. The offensive line has not been very good. I know they made some additions in free agency, but I think they add another piece here in this draft. So I think that they should take Dietrich Willis. Very, very solid offensive lineman. Was on high on a lot of draft boards basically throughout the season. So I think this should be a no-brainer for Cleveland. So I think they should take with the 10th pick Alabama offensive tackle Dietrich Willis. With the 11th pick in the draft, you have the New York Jets. Obviously, there's a number of different ways they should go, but I think that they should take defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina, yo. They lost Leonard Williams, yo. They traded him away across town, basically to the New York Giants. He could come in, man, very high energy player. Could come in, wreak havoc on that D line. They already got CJ Mosley in that linebacker, Jamal Adams back there in that secondary. They could use a guy up front, that could make some things happen, man, to make it easier, on those guys in the back end and in the linebacker core. So I think the New York Giants should go Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. With the 12th pick, I think the Las Vegas Raiders should take Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver from Alabama. You're replacing the Alabama receiver in Amari Cooper with another Alabama receiver in Jerry Jeudy. Obviously, the guy's a very, very good route runner. The Raiders need receivers, especially after the whole debacle with Antonio Brown. And I think Jerry Jeudy would be very good with them, man. Like I said, very best route runner, I believe, in the whole draft. Could come in and make explosive plays right away. Didn't run a fast 40 time like that, but he is football fast. When you see him run, he looks fast out there with pads on in games. So I think the Las Vegas Raiders with the 12th pick should take wide receiver Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. With the 13th pick, I think the San Francisco 49ers should take CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. Obviously, they lose Emmanuel Sanders to the New Orleans Saints. He's not quite the same type of receiver, but when you got a guy like Debo Samuel, that guy what's his name? Barn. You need they're not really, they good receivers, but they're not really number one go-to receivers. Obviously, George Kittle is an amazing tight end, solid offensive line, some really good running backs, a three-headed monster. So I think they should add another playmaker, at wide receiver. And CeeDee Lamb is, arguably the best overall wide receiver in this draft. So I think that with the 13th pick in the draft, the San Francisco 49ers should go CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, Oklahoma. Let's see. Okay, yeah. With the 14th pick in the draft, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should go CJ Henderson, cornerback out of Florida. I know it's kind of crazy they replacing a Florida corner with another Florida corner, but I think that's what this team needs, man. They need a good cornerback. Obviously offensively they're loaded. Defensively, the front seven is pretty loaded. They need people on the back end, yo. CJ Henderson is a very good corner. Obviously, he could stay in the state of Florida. I think he'll come in and compete, and give them a chance, man. Their secondary was just absolutely brutal last season as they just got thrown on consistently. So I think a guy like CJ Henderson could come in and, give him a spark. So I think with the 14th pick in the draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should take cornerback CJ Henderson from Florida. With the 15th pick in the draft, I think the Denver Broncos should take Henry Ruggs III, wide receiver out of Alabama. He could probably go in there and play the slot and be a deep threat. They got Cortland Sutton over there. He's a really good, wide receiver. Henry Ruggs, man, is amazing. Like I wanted him to beat it to my Philadelphia Eagles, but obviously once he ran that 4.2 at the combine, I knew he wasn't gonna last that long, man. And I just think Denver, they got a lot of running backs over there, adding Melvin Gordon, two good young tight ends. Offensive line is getting a little better, gelling a little bit, some good pieces defensively. So I think they could use another weapon, man, a guy that could stretch the field, for Drew Lock. So I believe the Denver Broncos with the 15th pick should take Henry Ruggs the third, wide receiver out of Alabama. With the 16th pick in the draft, man, I think the Atlanta Falcons should take Clavion Chase on edge rusher out of LSU. They lose Vic Beasley. They let him go. He goes and signs with the Tennessee Titans. Clavion Chase is a guy that got a lot of upside. I feel like he could have been a little more productive at LSU, but obviously, man, you get him in a good situation, man, with good coaching. I think he'll come in there and he's very athletic and very fast around the edge, similar to a Vic Beasley, yo. So I think Atlanta go that route. They got Tack McKinley on the other side, Grady Jarrett in the middle, Deion Jones at linebacker, some young pieces in the secondary. So I think they add, another edge rusher to help get after, especially with all those quarterbacks in that division now. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Teddy Bridgewater. So I think with the 16th pick in the draft, the Atlanta Falcons should take edge rusher Clavion Chase on. Now to the hated Dallas Cowboys. To all you Cowboy fans, y'all know I don't like y'all. I can't stand y'all. I would love to see y'all take a punter in the first round. But I'm gonna keep it professional, man. Obviously, I think the Dallas Cowboys at the 17th pick should take wide receiver Justin Jefferson out of LSU. I know a lot of people think they're gonna go defense and stuff like that. But, I think Justin Jefferson would be a really good fit for them, yo. They lose, they got Amari Cooper over there. They got Michael Gallup. They lose Randall Cobb in free agency. I think Justin Jefferson will come in for them and be great in the slot for Dak Prescott. Give them another weapon that they could use in the middle of the field, yo. So I think that would be a good fit for them. So I think the 17th pick, the Dallas Cowboys should take wide receiver Justin Jefferson out of LSU. With the 18th pick in the draft, I think the Miami Dolphins should take Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle from Georgia. Obviously, they gave away Laramie Tunsil last season to the Houston Texans, which is why they basically have another, which I think this is Pittsburgh's pick, but they have another extra first round pick. Andrew Thomas, his stock kind of dropping a little bit. I don't know why. The guy came into the year as the number one rated offensive lineman in the draft. A couple of other guys came in, and tested better, but this guy is solid. When you watch Georgia play, he doesn't give up anything. And to go along with, I think they should be their young future franchise quarterback. They should basically get their franchise left tackle. Obviously, a guy like Eric Flowers, I don't think is the answer. Even though they just signed him. So I think the 18th pick, the Miami Dolphins should take Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle from Georgia. With the 19th pick in the draft, I believe the Las Vegas Raiders should take Patrick Queen, linebacker out of LSU. The Raiders could use some linebackers, yo. They got some good guys on the D line. They got Max Crosby and Clean Farrell. In the secondary, obviously, they got guys like Jonathan Abrams. I think they should get a linebacker, man, that's gonna come in there and fly around, yo. Patrick Queen, man, is a guy that played some big time football in LSU's biggest games this season. He played his best. He's a 3-down linebacker. He can run sideline to sideline, and he can also, play in coverage. So I think he's a very, very versatile linebacker that the Raiders should grab at the 19th pick. So I think with the 19th pick in the draft, the Las Vegas Raiders should take Patrick Queen, linebacker out of LSU. With the 20th pick in the draft, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars should take Christian Fulton, cornerback out of LSU. Man, when you lose Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye, you got to replace them with somebody. And with Jeff Okuda and CJ Henderson already off the board, Christian Fulton is the next best corner, yo. Another guy, man, played big time football, man, came into the year, did his thing, held his own. He could come there and give Jacksonville a lift, man. You know, I think they should get their guy, Derek Brown, up on the D line. Now you add a corner and Christian Fulton, and they got some young pieces to work with going forward, along with Josh Allen, the guy they got last year. So I think with the 20th pick in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars should take Christian Fulton, cornerback out of LSU. What leads to my birds, man. With the 21st pick in the draft, my Philadelphia Eagles should take Denzel Mims, wide receiver out of Baylor, yo. Obviously, we need wide receivers. Obviously, the top three guys, Ruggs, Judy, and Lamb, are gone. I like Denzel Mims a lot, man. I've been watching a lot of film on him lately. A big receiver that runs a 4-3, that tracks the ball well in the air. I think he could come in and be a real solidified weapon for Carson Wentz and just really give this offensive boost, man. So I think with the 21st pick, my Philadelphia Eagles should take Denzel Mims, wide receiver out of Baylor. With the 22nd pick, I think the Minnesota Vikings should take Josh Jones, offensive tackle out of Houston. Um, I know they could use people in the secondary and a receiver, but I think the receiver draft is deep. I think they wait for their receiver. They need help on that offensive line, yo. If you watch that game, that playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers, they absolutely dominated Minnesota's offensive line. So they need guys, they need a guy to come in there and probably be a starter. And I think Josh Jones is another guy, going a little bit below the radar, but is a very, very solid offensive lineman, yo. They just gave Kirk Cousins a new deal. They got Dalvin Cook. They need somebody that could protect Kirk Cousins and open up running lanes for Dalvin Cook, yo. I think with the 22nd pick, the Minnesota Vikings should take Josh Jones, offensive tackle from Houston. With the 23rd pick in the draft, I think the New England Patriots should take Jordan Love, quarterback from Utah State. I know they got Jared Stidham, and people are like, oh, Jared Stidham, but this is about where I think Jordan Love should go. I don't think the top 10 hype is even though that's where he probably gonna go. But like I said, this is just what I think should happen. I think this would be a good spot for him, man. Even if he sit behind Stidham for a year or so, he does have a lot of athletic ability. And the Patriots would be a great place for him, man. He could get coached up by Josh McDaniels. He's tall, got a big arm. And I think this would just be a great organization for him, yo. And, probably, and this should probably be their quarterback of the future. Obviously, they don't pick high enough to get one of the other guys, but this is a guy that I think if he falls to them, this is exactly where he should head, yo. So with the 23rd pick in the draft, I think the New England Patriots should take Jordan Love, quarterback from Utah State. With the 24th pick in the draft, I think the New Orleans Saints should take Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma. The Saints are a loaded team, man. Obviously, offensively, they got pretty much everything you need since they got Emmanuel Sanders. Defensively, they got guys up front that could rush the passer. They got some decent pieces in the secondary. So I think linebacker is a position that they should address, a guy to go along with Demario Davis. And I think Kenneth Murray would be a very, very nice pick for the Saints, man. A good sideline to sideline back, a physical backer that could come in and make some things happen. So I think he would fit real nicely in that Saints defense, yo. So with the 24th pick in the draft, I think the New Orleans Saints should take Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma. With the 25th pick in the draft, I think the Minnesota Vikings should take Trevon Diggs, cornerback out of Alabama. I know this would be a whole lot of irony. They just traded his brother away to the Buffalo Bills. They traded Stephon away, and I think they should get his little brother Trayvon. Obviously, man, they lose Xavier Rose and Trey Waynes, man, so they should get a corner, in this spot. After I think the pick earlier, they addressed some issues on the offensive line. Go out there and get a corner, the guy that's the next best corner in the draft, yo. And obviously, it'll be kind of cool, me personally, to see his brother go there right after to see the little brother go there after the big brother get traded. But I think he would definitely fit a need for them. So I think with the 25th pick, the Minnesota Vikings should take Trayvon Diggs, cornerback out of Alabama. With the 26th pick in the draft, I think the Miami Dolphins should take DeAndre Swift, running back from Georgia. Obviously, this is just would be what they need, yo. They got their quarterback, got their offensive lineman. Hey, why not get the running back that blocked? Why not get a running back to run behind the offensive lineman that's used to blocking for him? I know they got Jordan Howard over there, a big physical back, but they need a running back for the future, man. DeAndre Swift has a great burst. Once he get in open field, he's gone. He could catch out of the backfield. I just think he would be a very, very nice fit, as the Dolphins get their quarterback, offensive lineman, and running back of the future after they really addressed the defensive side in free agency. So with the 26th pick, I think the Miami Dolphins should get DeAndre Swift, running back from Georgia. With the 27th pick in the draft, I think the Seattle Seahawks should get Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end out of Penn State. Jadeveon Clowney honestly is in limbo right now, so don't know if they bring him back or not. Assuming they don't, Gross Matos is a very good pass rusher, man. He would fit in nicely over there in Seattle. As they start building this thing back up again, behind Russell Wilson and with a lot of other young pieces to go along there. So I think with the 27th pick, the Seattle Seahawks should take Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end out of Penn State. With the 28th pick in the draft, I think the Baltimore Ravens should take T. Higgins, wide receiver from Clemson. They after watching that playoff game, man, against the Tennessee Titans, as great as Lamar Jackson was last year, he needs another guy that's a big physical red zone threat type of receiver. They kind of miss a guy like Michael Crabtree in that playoff game. Hollywood Brown is amazing. He's short, fast, but they don't have. I know Mark Andrews is a really good tight end, but they need another guy on that outside, that could go up there and make 50-50 type catches. And I think T. Higgins would be a nice fit for him. I think the Baltimore Ravens with the 28th pick should take T. Higgins, wide receiver from Clemson. With the 29th pick in the draft, I think the Tennessee Titans should take Austin Jackson, offensive tackle from USC. They lost a guy in free agency, lost a little piece of their offensive line, and they should go out there and replace him with the next best offensive lineman on the board, yo. Obviously you got a big deal with Ryan Tannehill, got a really good running back with Derrick Henry. Give him some more help on the offensive line. I think the defense is pretty stout. Everywhere else on the offense is pretty stout. So I think they should go get another offensive lineman here, yo. With the 29th pick, the Tennessee Titans should take Austin Jackson, offensive tackle out of USC. With the 30th pick in the draft, I think the Green Bay Packers should take Jalen Reagor, wide receiver out of TCU. Aaron Rodgers needs more weapons also. Obviously, he has Devontae Adams, a very nice guy, receiver. They added Devin Funches, another, big bodied red zone type receiver on the other side. Jalen Reagor could be the guy in the slot for them. He's kind of similar to like a Deebo Samuel, man. They've been missing that since Randall Cobb been gone, yo. So I think he would come in there, a young receiver to work with Aaron Rodgers and really make some plays for him, yo. So I think with the 30th pick, the Green Bay Packers should take Jalen Reagor, wide receiver out of TCU. With the 31st pick in the draft, I think the San Francisco 49ers should take Ross Blaylock, defensive tackle from TCU. They just lost Eric, what's his name? What the guy they just traded, man? DeForest Buckner, I think. Yeah, DeForest Buckner. They just traded him away to the Colts. And they get another guy in his place, that's a lot cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Obviously they add the receiver early on, like I think they should. The team is pretty stacked on paper again. So go out there and add another D lineman, man, that could come in there and clog up the middle and put pressure on the quarterback. So I think with the 31st pick, the San Francisco 49ers should take Ross Blaylock, defensive tackle from TCU. And finally, man, with the 32nd pick in the first round, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, I think, should take Xavier McKinney, safety out of Alabama. It's a toss up for me out of him and Grant Delpit, but it's some question marks with my boy Delpit with his ankle, so I think he fall to the second round. But Xavier McKinney, right now is a more complete safety right now. And it's a guy that could go in there on the other side of Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, and solidify. He's a guy that could blitz, and play a lot of different places out there, at safety. So this is another guy to add in that secondary, man, to add to that loaded team. So I think with the 32nd pick, the Kansas City Chiefs should take Xavier McKinney, safety out of Alabama. Well, there you have it, man. That's the Mr. Dugai first round mock draft version, man. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you agree with some picks or what you think your team should do. If you agree with me or disagree with me, holler at me and let me know, man. I'm gonna try to do this thing every year, Lord willing. You feel me? But that's all I got for y'all tonight, man. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Go on, hit the like button for your boy. Give me a subscribe, man. I'm gonna have Philadelphia Eagles and NFL content throughout the year. Also, this coming Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm gonna do a live Q&A. Y'all can come on there, ask me anything, tell me anything. I'll answer your questions, respond to your comments, and give you a shout out on the live, yo. Y'all should join me. It'll be some good stuff. Until then, yo, y'all have a blessed one. Fly Eagles, fly.